I would love to be a fly on the wall if someone came up to LeBron and said, hey, would you take less money than $50 million a year on a 2-year extension so that we can build some talent around you? And see what he says. Now, his answer would tell me one of two things. Either A, if he takes the $50 million a year, the $97.5 million 2-year extension, then he is just saying, we can't win a championship here. Pay me as much money as you can. I'm waiting for my sons to show up. Or B, hey, I will take a little bit less. Now he knows that he can win a championship. That means that Russell Westbrook's probably out of the picture and he's going all in. We're discussing this today, and if he doesn't make this decision, is he on his way out of Los Angeles? Who knows? I am the NBA white guy. I talk all things hoops from a hooper's perspective. I don't talk contracts, legalities, and or if it can work. Just straight up if these dudes can hoop and bring their team a championship. Now, if you like that kind of content, then make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. Now, there are grumblings and reports coming out that LeBron James is very, very upset with the Los Angeles Lakers not getting him the talent around him. Is he on his way out from Los Angeles? I don't believe so. These are some things that star players can do and say to try and get people to move around, but what we're seeing in Brooklyn, that stuff ain't flying no more. Brooklyn has actually come out and told Kevin Durant, we don't care what you're requesting. You got 4 more years on your deal. You're staying here. We're not trading everything for you. We're not getting rid of everything for you. We're not giving Kyrie this max extension. And the grumblings that have come out of Los Angeles in the past few months is that Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, and the Lakers are just saying, you know what? You're the one who brought in Russell Westbrook. You're going to have to deal with this. But I truly feel that is not how they're talking, behind closed doors. But right now, if you were Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka and the ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers, comment down below. What would you do? What actions would you take right now to make sure that this Lakers team gets better and that LeBron James stays in LA? Now, I don't think that LeBron James is out of LA. I think that he wants to stay there. And this again comes from a hooper's perspective and a father's perspective. Do you know how incredible it is to watch your children play hoops? It's the best. Now, you imagine LeBron James watching his 2 sons play at a high level in high school. And did you just see Bronny James in London take off and dunk it on that dude? He's only 6'2", too. That dude has bounce. But he gets to keep his kids in that school system, in that team system, in LA. He does not want to go. And I know what you're saying. Well, he can fly back and forth. That's really difficult to do. Would he do it? Maybe, but I doubt it. He wants to stay in LA and get that squared away. Plus, the one thing that LeBron James wants more than money, because he's a billionaire, championships. I don't care if he won 7 rings, there's still going to be grumblings about Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. Now, I don't know if that's truly in his head of I've got to 100% be better than Michael Jordan, because it's never going to happen. Do I truly feel that he's a better basketball player and the #1 player of all time? Absolutely. He's the GOAT. He's the most physically dominant player besides Shaq, right? A big man. This is an all-around 1 through 5 player. There's just never been a player like him in the history, but he wants more championships. And if you saw what he did last year in year 19, averaging 30 points a game, and unfortunately because his team was trash, he was averaging like 38 minutes a game. Now, I might be wrong on 38, but I watched a lot of Lakers games, and the dude was playing 38 to 40 minutes, carrying the load, and then at the very end of the game, they would just crap the bed. Russell Westbrook would just throw the ball out of bounds or off his foot, whatever, and they would lose. Frustrating. That's the other aspect of this. Again, I talked about 2 decisions that the Lakers and LeBron have to make, right? A, is he going to take this 2-year max extension, right? That's almost $100 million. I am so tired of these supermax players teaming up with supermax players, and 2 to 3 players are taking 80% of your salary cap. You can't win that way. Dude, LeBron, you got AD. Now you can bring in Kyrie, which I think is a great deal. On 1 year, he's about $10, $11 million less than Russell Westbrook and 10 to 11 million times better, especially in a LeBron James system. Now, I do think that Russell Westbrook in another situation outside of the Lakers, he's going to flourish again. He'll be a triple-double machine. He's going to be, a vocal and a physical leader out there. But, in a system trying to win a championship, he's proven it in his career. It's just not there. When push comes to shove at the end of the day, at the end of a game to really make it work, Westbrook gets that ball. He wants it. He doesn't pass. He's going to the rim, and he's just not effective. Kevin Durant saw that in Oklahoma City. That's why he wanted out. So if LeBron James wants to win some more championships, I feel he's truly going to have to take less, because if not, he may be on his way out of LA. I don't think that LeBron, when he started his career, was thinking, okay, I'm going to be the scoring leader of all time. I'm going to try and be the assist leader, steals. Like, he was really just trying to be as good as he can. And I think the championships at the end of the day, over scoring titles, over MVPs, over, anything in the league of accolades, it's championship. He still got gas in the tank. What he did in year 19 was absolutely remarkable, but he's having to play too many minutes, and every time he sits, the Lakers would lose a 15-point lead. That's got to be the most frustrating thing out there. Kyrie's going to be able to eliminate that just like he did in Cleveland. I've watched LeBron for many, many years, and the one thing that Kyrie did, he took over when LeBron sat. He was able to at least maintain leads, if not continue to grow that lead. That is what LeBron desperately needs. The other aspect of that is when he's not sitting here going for scoring titles, which he's going to inevitably this season beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, no problem. He's now got that, and he's going to continue to build on it, but he needs the championships. So this takes me to my next point. LeBron, I would die to be a fly on the wall if someone came in and said, hey, are you willing to take less on your contracts for us to bring more players in? We've seen this happen in the past, not only in the NBA, but the NFL. Tom Brady has been doing this for years. Now, his wife makes hundreds of millions of dollars, but LeBron James is a billionaire. The dude literally owns every business in the world, so he can afford to take a little bit of a hit here. Now, I don't know. Maybe he's all into his money. I've heard many reports and funny videos where he is the cheapest human ever. In fact, Dwayne Wade was talking about the cheapest human he ever knew was LeBron, and LeBron said, yep, that's me. So maybe he does want his $50 million a year, and he just wants to, build that bank account up. But I would imagine the bank account of championship rings would mean a lot more to him. Here's the other factor. Now, if you make it into the postseason, and if you especially make it to the finals, there's a lot of added bonuses and salaries to that. So you can make up probably not 10 or 20 million, but you can make up a lot of extra money by extending into the playoffs. And guess what he has not done? Made it to the playoffs like last year. He needs to get back in. This is one way that he could do it, by actually getting more talent around him instead of just 3 all-stars, instead of a bunch of mid-level contracts and minimum vet contracts where you have a whole team full of 36-year-olds. Look, man, I'm a 38-year-old hooper. I just can't do what I did back in my late 20s or even early 30s. It hurts a heck of a lot more nowadays. Now, I've also heard people talk about the argument of, well, Tim Duncan, the last 3 years of his career, took a lot less money. In fact, he took like $9 million, then like $10 million, then $6 million, and he did end up winning a championship. One of them, obviously when Ray Allen hit the shot for the Miami Heat to win in Game 7 against San Antonio Spurs, that was another championship that LeBron got over the Spurs, but Tim Duncan almost got 2 championships out of that because they were able to bring in so much more talent. But Tim Duncan, in year 19, was a shell of himself. Now, he was a vocal leader. He was a presence in the locker room, and that is exactly what you need in a Greg Popovich system. But look, what LeBron did in year 19 versus Tim Duncan, apples to oranges. LeBron was still the leader and in the MVP race, and had he have stayed healthy and played through, he would have been the scoring leader, possible MVP, and that's just insane numbers. Timmy Duncan was not doing that at year 19, so I get it. You're not going to go take $9 million, $10 million, but $30 million a year would leave almost $20 million of salary cap for the Lakers. That's a lot of extra good talent out there. And then if you do that, you tell Rob Pelinka, I just took less. You better fill this squad with absolute all-stars, younger all-stars, players that when I sit for 5 freaking minutes, I do not lose a 10-point lead every time. This is something also that we have to know, that Anthony Davis has only played 35% of the game since he's been a Los Angeles Laker. And if the bubble and if the break didn't happen, I don't think they win that championship, because Anthony Davis was not healthy. He got a couple months to recoup. They went to the bubble, they cleaned house, LeBron did his thing, and he got championship number 4. But we've seen it ever since before that, and after that, Anthony Davis cannot stay healthy. So they're going to have to bring in some other pieces to give not only LeBron a little bit of rest, but you're going to have to give Anthony Davis a little bit of rest so that he can stay injury-free too. Please stay injury-free. But if you do see the reports coming out, Anthony Davis is looking swole. He's looking cut, finally in shape, because he was coming in pudgy before, and LeBron was not happy about that. Inevitably, for any of this to work out, they got to get rid of Russell Westbrook. I don't know how they're going to do it. And again, I'm a LeBron lover, and I don't know why he brought him in. It's funny how this is the one thing that every analyst and every dude sitting behind a desk who's never even dribbled a basketball said it's not going to fit. Now, a lot of the things they say don't fit is because they run like analytics and numbers, and they don't truly know what it's like to play basketball. But this one, it was pretty easy to see. And when it happened and they signed him, I get the point. Now, again, from a hooper's perspective, I was like, okay, I can see what this is going to do. Westbrook in like a Washington Wizards role, an Oklahoma City role, some of these roles where he just got to pound the air out of the ball, go 38 to 40 minutes, play as hard as he possibly can, get triple doubles. He actually led some of those teams. I mean, look at what he did for the Wizards. I think they won like 50 games that year. And they ended up making into the playoffs, or at least the play-in. So that's something that LeBron said, okay, now I can take a little bit of a breather. I can take a little bit of a break. He can run the point. He can carry our team just to get into the playoffs, and then we'll sit him and I'll do my thing. But it didn't happen, and the pressure of LA got to him, and the pressure of playing under a LeBron system got to him. And that is the one thing that you cannot talk about analytically. LeBron is going to make his players better every single time, if and only if they accept their role. If they try to come in and be exactly who they are, ball hog, shooter, all that, you're going to diminish your talents. You're going to be a fraction of yourself, and the pressure is going to get to you, and you're going to crumble. If you hear any interviews from players who went and played with him, just like JaVale McGee said, my favorite player was LeBron. I had my career year with him. He played his role, pick and roll, played dirty down low, got all the rebounds in the alley-oop, had a career year. Matthew Dellavedova, for crimini's sake, he had the greatest career ever. The dude was looking like an all-star. Couldn't make it after that. Alex Caruso, the list goes on and on. You've got the Mike Millers, you've got everybody, Birdman's even. I'm just naming some of these random ass talents that he played with that are incredible with a LeBron James system. But when you get people coming in who cannot adapt, hey, they're going to not flourish. And you see this all time and time again. But we also saw Kyrie Irving and LeBron James in Cleveland together work, and there is no telling me they don't win that 2015 championship. If even Kyrie stays healthy, and Kevin Love, who gets his shoulder dislocated by Kelly Olynyk, even if it's just Kyrie and LeBron, I still think they win that championship that year. But with Kevin Love and Kyrie, that is the Cleveland Cavaliers championship that year and the next. But hey, injuries happen. They don't want to talk about that. They only want to talk about when LeBron wins and how it was like cheated and all that stuff. But hey, he went there with Matthew Dellavedova in 2015 and almost won the championship. So that's what he has on his mind, is championships. Down below in the comments, if you would, what would you do if you were LA Lakers right now with the team they have? And what conversations would you have with LeBron James about extending for $100 million for the next 2 years? I am your NBA white guy. If you like what I'm doing on this YouTube channel with my opinions, make sure that you tap that subscribe button and you click the bell so you're notified every time I do a new video. And until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.